All right, let's restart.
Are there any brown girls that we could date that like broke men?
Do brown women like broke? Ah, man. See, I feel like
We're back with Sad Money in Washington Square Park. We're here with
Nikhil Mehta.
Nikhil Mehta. We have so much to ask you. We want to start
I'm excited to be here, man.
We're gonna start off with you were telling us earlier. Why are you bad with money?
I'm terrible with money. I don't know really what it is. I've always like thought about it. There's like a level of I just don't care enough. It's weird. It's like a level of apathy that I just carry in my regular life.
Yeah.
That like I have friends in finance and they're like getting into the weeds of stocks and shit. And after like 7 minutes, I'll just start checking. I don't know. There's something ingrained. So I think it's somewhat personal. But also like my lineage, a lot of people think, Indian people are decent with money. My dad's family, I think my lineage carries some impact. My dad's family is Gujarati, your Patels, your Shahs, people who kind of like more likely to own like a gas station or a liquor store. Typically Gujaratis are very good with money. But then my mom's side is Maharashtrian, and as far as I know, Maharashtrians are terrible with money. So I think I just genetically received her traits.
Is this like a general actually genetic thing, or is this more of like a caste type thing here?
I never really thought about it yet. I haven't brought my thoughts on the caste system to America.
No?
I was.
Hey,
I don't know anything about my. Yeah, I believe I am a. I believe I'm high caste. Yeah, I actually do think that is true. I think my family is kind of high caste.
Yeah.
Because my mom, like, they're very anti, like, bringing up the caste. They don't really care about any of that. That's
Okay.
all, like, old, old-fashioned way of thinking. But from time to time, my mom will bring it up.
She will.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm a higher caste than your father.
No. She'd be like, just remember, you are a high caste. Like, you know what I mean, when I'm underperforming.
Don't forget, you're not a lowborn. Hold your head up.
Yeah.
You were born into higher. Is money important? You feel like in your family, like do you have brothers and sisters, and they care a lot about money, or no? It's not really that important. You think?
I mean, I have a sister. As far as I know, she's terrible with money.
Really?
My mom, I would think, is horrendous. My dad is good with money, not great. But again, like everybody in his family is good with money. It's like a Gujarati. It's a very like, it's a stereotype, but it is quite true that Gujaratis are very like. You'll even have like people in the Gujarati community who. You'll have siblings and everybody shares like one bank account. Like it's all about bringing wealth to the family.
Sharing one bank account.
Yeah, so I know like people who's like, you have a husband, a wife, and then his brother and her wife. Like they'll all share one joint bank account. Like it's all about. They were the ones who like left India, went to other places in the world, went to Africa, went to places in the Middle East, like and started like they were merchants.
Yeah. So. When you own, like, okay, one bank account is crazy because it's like, are they checking each other's purchases? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who bought the fleshlight? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
I'm just saying this. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know if you're doing the fleshlight purchase on the joint bank account.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one you might have to use Apple Pay for like a PayPal or something.
So, your dad did that happen with him? Did he have a joint bank account with like other people's
No,
family?
I'm just talking about certain. Like we never owned a business or anything like that, so I don't think. But I have heard of examples like that where everybody is like on one bank account and something like that.
And when they do that, do they do that to like just buy and build more businesses and build wealth together? Because I can't even. Like my brother just gave me a PlayStation, and I get to share his PlayStation account, and that's as far as I can't even download anything. I just have to play what he plays.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed. Wait. You guys share a PlayStation account and it's a problem?
Well, no, it's not a problem. It's just, it's his account. I'm on it. But I'm like, I couldn't imagine like downloading like games on his account.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys are talking about like building like generational wealth together, which I think is kind of like, honestly, that's beautiful. Because I could never
I just want to
figure
make
out
it clear, this is not my family. I'm just yeah. This is just I've heard of this. I actually heard this. This is actually like I heard this through somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know much about.
Yeah.
All I know is my family. In my direct family is pretty average with money, I would say.
Average with money. So
Not
you're
really like sharks, but yeah.
are you like in debt or
Me?
no? Yeah.
No, I'm not in debt.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
But I might go to NYU soon, so I will be in debt.
Oh, you gonna go to NYU for?
I think like documentary film.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I'm about to be in debt.
You're going this year?
I think so.
You already applied. Everything's already.
Yeah, I already did all that.
Damn. You should start a channel like this. Wow. I mean, okay. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you about like dating. Do you only date? This is
Here
just
we go.
from
Here we go.
our friend who is a Meta. He dates a Meta.
You have a meth on your roster.
100%.
How was his interview?
He's going into debt for his love of his life.
Really?
Well, he says like he told us. He said don't ever date Indian women or brown women because they're very princess, and they cost a lot of money. Do you find that like dating people of brown culture, like the women have a higher expectation that you should be doing really well?
Well, first off, I don't know if I would ever do any of the princess. All right, let's restart.
Are there any brown girls that we could date that like broke men?
Do brown women like broke? Ah, man. See, I feel like when I was younger, it didn't really matter as much. Like
22.
22, 23, they would believe in a dream or like what you're pursuing. You hit 27, 28, you gotta like, all right, the dream is over. What do you actually, So I have noticed that. I don't think like that's true for everybody. Like I think that's a pretty big generalization.
Okay.
If you look at that scale, yeah, you're probably going to be wanting to come into the situation pretty well financially stable, or at least have potential.
Okay.
Definitely, that is a pretty big pressure on Indian men is to be somewhat financially secure.
That is 100%. Like you gotta, because again, like
But
black.
in the brown community, there's a big divide. Like there's like your brown women who are very vain.
Yeah.
And then you might get like your more like creative types. But in general, like you're either going vain and soulless or creative and coming in with bounds of trauma.
Bounds of trauma.
Yeah.
What's the trauma that?
Probably something with their parents.
Okay. Beatings or like sexual trauma?
I thought this was a money pod.
It is, but I mean that was just an interesting tangent. You know what I mean? I just wanted to follow it. That's all. I just wanted to know. We'll cut it out. It's all part of it.
No, I think like I don't know. I'm stereotyping it, but like maybe some level of like they had some issues with their parents or something like that. Not
Okay.
sexual, no.
Okay, yeah, not sexual, of course not. All right, so you were telling me you're from Cincinnati, and I didn't know this. I accidentally called it a slave town, but you said Cincinnati is actually a great place to grow up in Ohio.
What segment?
You were saying that Cincinnati is a great place.
Sexual abuse. I heard you.
Yeah, I heard you grew up in a slave town, but you were saying Cincinnati is actually like the first free town.
Well, I think there's like a lot like people hear Ohio and they just shit on it,
Yeah.
Like they're like, and some of it is like hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but there's like a lot of history in certain. But like Cincinnati was right on the Ohio River, so like if you were if you were trying to escape slavery, that would be like if you landed in Cincinnati, you're like free. So it's like there's like the Freedom Center and stuff. There's like historic things to check out from like the 1800s and stuff.
So do you feel like growing up in Cincinnati, you're not living here in New York, the mindsets with money has changed since like what people consider well off out there versus what people consider well off out here?
Oh yeah, dude. Cincinnati, if you have like if you get yourself like a backyard, yeah,
That's it.
You're kind of chilling. You get yourself like a backyard, and then if you're living closer to the city, if like, I don't know, man, if you have like, I'm trying to think of a good like, if you can get like, if you have Bengals season tickets or something like that.
Okay, you're killing.
Oh yeah, and you're not really like when I lived. I mean, I never really lived in Cincinnati, but obviously I would stay there when I was staying with my parents and stuff, and it was like, you go out, you're not even really thinking about it.
You're not thinking about money.
You're not even thinking about it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, once you're 7, 8 drinks in, maybe, but like, you go out in New York, your first drink, you're all of a sudden starting to count.
I think the second I step out the door, I bought a bottle of. I didn't buy bottled water. I bought box water, because at first I thought it said $1 from outside, but I had already walked in, and then I was like $3. I said, "Fuck, I'm $3 down already."
Oh yeah, oh dude, it starts right away.
Yeah.
Even when I think I have like a net positive day because I get paid hourly, I'm like, and then I think, oh shit, I just paid $6 for the Subway. Oh fuck, why did I get that pack of gum? Like even a pack of gum, I start to count, dude. But I think the biggest, if you go out and since like you're on a night out, dude, you look at your bank account, $80, like you're like, and you bought 3 people drinks. It's like not even, it's not even really on your radar. Like, so, you can have a really good time for not a lot of money,
So do you think like dating was better in Cincinnati because maybe, people's expectations aren't as crazy? Like here, it's like a lot of people are going into debt for dating.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like you're going through that right now, or are you dating a lot,
I think you have to be like, especially, well, here's the thing. If you're doing well financially here, like, it's a whole different ballgame because your earning potential is just fucking insane. Like, I have a friend of mine. She's like, I don't know, been seeing different men or what. She was telling me about some guy who like takes her out fucking $250, $300 dinners every trip.
Whoa.
And she's like, so I'm like, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh fuck, if I were to put myself on a scale, I'm so far on the other end of that.
Right there with you, brother.
Yeah. Oh, this one time I tried to take this girl out, and she was like, we had the date set up. She wasn't from New York. She had like 4 days here. And then she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I had something come up. I checked her Instagram story. This bitch was on a helicopter ride. So like, some guy can just out kind of bid you.
Like an eBay. That's what dating is now. It's eBay.
Just out of the blue. But you probably have better look. Cincinnati is some of the best looking women in the world, but New York probably has a little bit of an upper hand there. So that's a bit of a trade-off.
So for you, you're not spending a lot of crazy money. You're not going into debt. You're like
on dating?
On dating, yeah. Dating apps, you cost money, I think, to do like Tinder Plus or Tinder Gold or Hinge Plus. That's before you even get the date.
Well, so I used to work have a tech job. I used to work in marketing, and when I was there, I still wouldn't like I wasn't doing $200 dinners or whatever.
Yeah.
But we'd go out once or twice a month or whatever. When I had a girlfriend or I was dating. Now I try to play it very calculated. I'm like, hey, it's not great right now, but there's a chance it could be good. But it's horrible right now. We're going to a diner. Let's not get any, I'm playing it as calculated as possible. I'm trying to let them know, like, hey, I'm a meme stock. That's what it's. I'm a meme coin or whatever those things are. Like, this could go really well, like in a couple years, or this could shoot down to zero for sure.
I tell women I'm Bitcoin in 04. You gotta hold it, but it's gonna be worth it. Just hold on.
That's confidence. I don't have that confidence. I'm not Bitcoin. I don't think. I'm like Ripple or some shit.
Pepe. All right. So you were saying that you get paid hourly. You're working in the tipping system. What's that like? Because I'm assuming a lot of people that come here are tourists.
Oh, yeah.
And they're Europeans and they don't tip. So what's your experience with that whole rigmarole?
Yeah, so I was saying I used to work in marketing, and then I got let go from that.
What happened there?
Unfairly.
Explain that. Yeah. Tell us what happened there. You can tell us the company too.
Nah, that's probably fair. I was like, yeah.
No one's watching. Just it rhymes with
my company.
Yeah.
Nobody would even know what it is.
Okay, he might.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not that many people there. There's like 150.
What's the company?
It's called Cody. I think I could get sued though, but
All right, well, it's not Cody. Yeah, we'll cut
Yeah.
that part out. So you got let go of the job. It was like a round of layoffs.
no, they're doing great.
What happened then?
Yeah, they're doing really good. Performance review. Yeah. Basically, what happened was I was like this is not gonna be interesting for your podcast, but I was an account manager, and I wanted to be like more client facing.
Yeah.
You know, like get on the phone, pretend like I was a real person, and they're like, we're gonna get you to there, but we need you to like help build this system, and the system was just to automate my job, and then we basically became chatbots.
Whoa! So they phased you out. They had you train the
And then
AI.
I could not bring myself to be a chatbot. So I was like totally checked out of the job for like a month. And then when I got fired, my last statement in our like work chat was, "Can anybody take over the chatbot for me?" And then they wiped me from the system.
Whoa! How long ago was this?
That's probably like a year ago. A year and change. Year and 4 months.
Do you feel honestly? You feel freer after that? You're like, thank God.
Mentally, it was amazing. Like, just the first month is absolutely brutal. Just the uncertainty of life, and when you've been in like, I mean, I do like stand up and shit, so I have like a little bit of income, but just to be in the uncertainty of not being in the, the routine of a corporate job is fucking insane. But then once you get healthcare through the state, then you're feeling pretty good.
So you're Medicare.
Medicaid.
Medicaid, that's what I meant. Medicaid. Same thing. I got you. So you got let go from that job. Then you found this job?
Huh?
The one that where you're like you're
This
getting
is the worst look ever for me. I'm over here
Yeah.
telling women I'm barely spending money on my Medicaid.
Listen, you'd be surprised how bad they're doing. You'd be
Woman
surprised.
can't figure out how to make money right now. That's kind of on her. I know people making fucking $5,000 a month selling socks.
This is what we tell our friend all the time. It's like, let me use that thing. I'll show you how to work it. I'm not saying it's pimping, but I'm just saying, give me your underwear, and we can make some crazy money.
Oh, yeah.
We can make
Now you're
some
looking at like 10
crazy
grand,
money.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Just give me 2-3 pairs. That's it. But there's underwear on Klarna?
Installments.
Oh, yeah, you can do installments. That's true, too. There's on OnlyFans, because I used to work for OnlyFans for the women. $200 a text message
That's what I'm saying. It's
for
like
dick ratings.
That's crazy.
200 for a dick rating?
200 for dick rating. Yeah. Honestly, I need to tell this story.
Yeah,
Oh, here.
You do.
All right, but let's go back to you. So now you're working, but what's your job now?
Wait, why do I have to pay 200 to get my dick rated?
Because you're not doing well if you're on OnlyFans it's $200 for, and then the ratings are already stored. They have like a few of them, because some guys are like, they have.
What do you mean they have it stored? They're like
the-
AI?
No, the women have already taped the ratings. You got to get the money from them, and then you just take it, and so you're not even really.
Such an interesting concept.
OnlyFans is just destroying the fabric of our society. Like,
Yeah, but it's like a gold rush. Like if you could get in,
100%. Most of the one girl that was the finest and probably made the most money never got naked. Honestly, Amber, wherever you are, I hope you're out there. You're doing well. You got me through Christmas. I'll tell you that. just being honest, Amber. Anyways, listen. You work now. Your job is.
Oh yeah, I'm working as a tour guide.
How is that? I mean, a lot of people did that. Tim Dillon did that for a long time before he became a multi-millionaire. Like, what is that experience like?
Yeah, just for the heads up, there are plenty of tour guides who do comedy who are doing nothing.
Yeah.
So he's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm working as a tour guide, and yeah, man, it's like that's actually after I lost my other job. I knew some comics who are working at this place giving tours, so I hit them up, and they were like, yeah, they'll hire if you do comedy, they'll hire you right away.
Really? Because they know you're not afraid of speaking in front of people.
Yeah, public speaking, and like you're gonna at least be entertaining somewhat,
Yeah.
and you're used to like, terrible shows, so you'll get through a bad tour or whatever,
Yeah. So, do you make money salary, hourly, tips?
It's hourly, but the big whale is trying to get tips from tourists. That is how you make a living.
How does that work? Because I'm assuming, like we said, they're Europeans. They don't tip. So,
So everybody has their own style. Whatever your persona is, you kind of, after like a couple months, you realize what your persona is. You start going, like you just start. It's like that persona on steroids. So like, I'll give you an example. We used to have like an older Jewish guy who was like 75, and he would just kind of, he'd Jew it up a little bit. I've lived in this neighborhood. I've lived in this. You gotta listen. You gotta listen. I'm like, you know what I mean. You felt like you were like this guy was New York City.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd tell people he lived in every single neighborhood in the whole city. I have no idea if that's true. They'd go, "Have you ever been to the West Village?" I used to live in the West Village in 19. You know what I mean? One of those guys.
Yeah. Back when this was all horse stables.
Yeah. And then you got like an incredibly gay black dude. So he just, goes even like, girl, your hair's on point. That's on, just buttering up fucking middle-aged white women from Nebraska. And they go fucking bananas.
And so what's your technique then?
Oh, so dude, I'm kind of more into like the political realm. I'm a panderer. I'll seek out. I'll look at my tour. I go, okay, I got 15 people on here. Four guys from Alabama there, 3 Germans. 2 Spanish speakers who don't know English. So I'll just discount them completely. And then whatever the political swing is, I'll go in.
So what, like the last tour? What's the most you've ever gotten tipped on one of your tours?
I've gotten. I had a really wealthy Mormon family tip me like $300 or $400.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Trumpers?
Okay. You get some white people from like middle America. You start testing it out a little bit. I'll give you an example. So we're doing a tour one time. It was Pride Month, and all the flags were out on the plaza. And I had a white dad just come out and go, "A lot of flags." And it wasn't much, but I was like, I know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So then I just start talking about JFK, and I start going off about the assassination. I talk about the CIA a little bit. And then, we're coming back around. I go, New York isn't what it used to be, like this, that, and the other. Big thing I've noticed is white dads typically are the best at tipping. Maybe you're Latinos as well. Certain parts of Latin America, Europeans are really bad with tipping. So white dads, I've noticed, love talking real estate. They love to hear how that apartment over there is so much more expensive than it was 30 years ago.
Really?
They love that. They go, hey, once you butter them up a little bit, then they go, hey, so what's the 1-bedroom run you out here? I go, tell you what, I don't live around here, tough economy. But if you were to live in Manhattan, you're looking at $3,500 for a 1-bedroom. They go, oh my God.
They want to hear that they got a deal or still where they're at, where they go, listen.
They want to hear that the country's going to shit. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear that everybody in this city that their wife made them come to on a vacation, everybody here is doing the wrong thing. They did the right thing by staying in fucking Pittsburgh.
Do you feel like you did the wrong thing leaving Cincinnati?
Nah, this is like my favorite. Like, nobody's like. How long have you lived here?
10 years?
Yeah. How about you? I feel like if you stay past 4 years, you do love New York City.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
People in the comments are gonna transplant this, that, and the other. But whatever. But yeah, you colonized my country, and then we had to leave. But we had to do something.
Yeah.
By the way, New York is not really that old. Anyways.
No, we don't hear that. Go ahead, go into it. New York's not that old.
Oh, these people are like, oh,
Yeah, talk about how New Yorkers always like transplant this, transplant that.
It's like, bro, your fucking grandparents just got here from Italy like 70 years ago. You're not like, you know what I mean? Like,
you weren't part of the, what's the name? Lapo Wang, the Native Americans? Or Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? We are like, the transplants are kind of the new immigrants. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, I do Like I will pretend like at my job I'll pretend like I'm from New York.
For the better tips and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where you from? I go, yeah, I grew up right over there.
You're turning into the Jewish man. I grew up over here. You used to be able to get cacao over there.
I grew up in Queens, right over the river. Yeah.
Now this is gold right here. All right, so if we're ever
Can I
out,
tell you another one?
Yeah,
That
it's
I
awesome.
do a little pandering.
Yeah.
This one isn't as good, but I get Europeans on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
If they're Germans, I'll skip World War II. If there aren't Germans, I start going off.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of World War II history up there.
Yeah.
Because like they had like British agents training the FBI and stuff in those buildings. Like, have you ever heard the conspiracy about the Rockefellers were like really close with the CIA?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a building there where like they say the CIA started basically
Here.
in New York.
Where?
It's in Rockefeller Plaza. It's like on 49th or 50th Street.
Whoa. Is that true?
I've been saying it. I think it is true. Like, I think it started as this thing called the OSS. They had offices other places, but New York was the main one. And then they moved to D.C. as the CIA.
Okay, and CIA is separate. It's like its own branch of the government. It's not even really part of the government. But
Yeah.
so you'll tell that to the Brits and stuff, or you tell that?
But there's a building there called the British Building where they say British agents who would train the OSS during World War II.
Yeah.
So we hit a little World War II patch. Hey, you guys were the ones who trained us.
Yeah.
We were all allied together for a long time. British, French building over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just
And then the Germans, you go. There was a period from the 30s or do you go like 1900s? Anything before the 60s doesn't matter. Like how do you grease the Germans?
I'll go. The 30s were a big period of industrialization. That's really all it was known for. And then I'll just kind of sort of bounce out from there.
So, anyways, coming into 1977, let's just skip the Munich games too.
I went to the museum in Mexico City, and it's like Mexican history starting in 5000 BC, whenever the first people got to Mexico. And they go every century. It's like the coolest museum ever. Coolest museum. They hit 1492 or whatever whenever the Spanish showed up. It's just an empty room. And they just skip all of it till Mexican independence.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. That is amazing, actually. That's beautiful. We need to go to this museum.
Mexico City, I love it.
Yeah. It's got to be a cheap trip, right?
Mexico City's awesome, man.
What about Mexico City? Isn't that dealing with a lot of gentrification?
I mean, I was there. I mean, it's not overwhelming. But yeah, it's not overwhelming, I thought.
It's not like here.
But I don't live there, you know what I mean? But it's also if you're rich in Mexico, you're kind of living a whole different life than most Mexicans anyway. So the area where people go is so cordoned off.
So where you were saying you were... Wait, what's your take?
Yeah, I was in Mexico 3 months ago. I do think... This is what I noticed about Mexican people. First off, Mexican people are at the top of my hierarchy, yeah.
Explain. I've never heard anyone say that.
They're my number one.
Like, that's your favorite people in the world is Mexicans.
I think we're all the same. Every nationality.
Okay, go ahead. Say it one more
I
time.
think every nationality is equal. We're all equal people,
Even the Germans?
Everybody's equal, man, except Mexicans are at the top.
Why?
I don't know. They're the hardest. They're everything is cool. Their art, their food is fucking phenomenal. Their history is dope. They got pyramids. Nobody even fucking talks about it.
Yeah.
They got pyramid. They got a soccer team.
That is interesting. With Africa and the pyramids, they're like, we don't know who built this, and the Mexicans they go, they built those. They built those Mexican pyramids.
And they're I think the people are some of the best people, Mexican people. But here's what I noticed when I was in Mexico. They're extremists. So I was going to different bars, and you go to a scene and they get really into it. We went to, my sister and I, we went to this disco club, my sister and her husband and me. And it was everybody was on board. Everybody was in line. I was I can see how they work so well in a kitchen. I'm actually being serious.
I know, but that's what made it funny. I know you were.
No, there's not even a. It's not even a.
No one said anything. I just thought it was funny.
And then we went to this jazz bar. Everything, like everybody's in sync. Everybody's on board. Everybody's like, it's like. And I heard the story that there was like a punk rockers and metal, and in Mexico City, and they like went to war and shit. 'Cause
Really?
they're so passionate. They're like a very passionate. Like, if you're gonna do something, you gotta go 100%.
So are you looking for like a Mexican wife?
Well, here was my take. My overall take is that if ISIS set up shop in Mexico, we would be fucked.
You mean because the Mexicans could?
They'd be really good terrorists.
Mexicans would make great
I
terrorists.
think so.
Okay, I'm listening. I want to. You got any more behind why they'd be good terrorists?
Let's go to the. What was the wife thing?
You gonna marry a Mexican wife?
I don't know. I mean, I
It's because you won't marry a Mexican because they're afraid you're a terrorist.
no.
It sounds like the
No, I mean, I'm open to whatever, to be
the
honest,
dads
yeah.
in the middle of the country have gotten to you.
Oh, I do have this. I have a thought. Am I running way over?
No, I think what time we're at?
You're right about 30.
We're at 30 right now. Yeah.
I actually hate how people, like the amount we. I don't know if you're on board with this, how much we preference like women and race now.
Okay.
Everybody's like, I date this group that's like this, and they got to do this and this. I'm like, I just find it kind of like corny.
Yeah.
I know people are, like, brown dudes are like, I only date white women. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's a little weird to be a brown guy to only date white
yeah,
women.
I mean, yeah, that is ultimate cornball shit. But I get if you're like, I'm brown, like, I get if you're like, I'm brown, I only date brown women, because you're trying to keep it in the culture and stuff. That is whatever. But I do think, all right, all people are the same. But your Spaniards, like a rich, like Latina woman, is pretty top tier.
You're saying that's the top for you. Is that's what you want to say?
Actually, rich Latinos in general are the coolest rich people, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because they're rich, but there is an air of despair in their eyes because they're like, we could be kidnapped at any time.
That's a great point. Like the Brazilian, Venezuela, they're like, yes, we are rich, but some way God's gonna get us for this.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're on a yacht right now, but our cousin Jose died 5 years ago. Was kidnapped.
All we have left is his ear and pinky. That's all they gave us back.
I do think that though. I think rich Latinos are the coolest rich people.
You know what? I'll give you that.
Rich
I
Americans
like
are
that.
the worst, in my opinion. Like,
Okay, why are the rich Americans the worst?
Like rich Americans do this thing where they try to act like they don't have money.
Oh yeah.
That
Hate
is
that.
fucking whack.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, that's a very white thing.
Yeah.
'Cause
Explain.
if you're in Indian culture, if you got money, you're letting everybody know. Even if you don't have money,
Yeah.
you're pretending like you have money.
Same
I
with
think
black people.
for
Yeah.
sure,
If there's
yeah.
a black billionaire, you're gonna know they're a black billionaire. Kanye was like, I'm a black billionaire. We're like, you're not on the Forbes list. He was like, put me on the fucking Forbes list. We want you to know we have the money.
He was like, I'm a black billionaire. They're like, no, you're not.
He was like, no, I am. But like Bill Gates, these guys still walk around in khakis and
bro, that
New
pisses me
Balance,
off.
and they're like, I don't know how much I'm worth.
Bro, that
I'm
really
comfortable. It's like,
When I
yeah,
see a
comfortable
fucking-
enough not to work, bitch.
Like when I see Elon in a fucking t-shirt, I'm like, you're pissing me off, bro. You're like, it's getting to me.
100%. I 100% agree with that. That is Latinos. I never thought of that. That's good, but rich Americans are the worst to have. All right, let me ask you like one more question. Let's see how you feel about this. Like, all right, everyone thinks about money like when it comes to kids and everything like that. Are you thinking about that at all? Like, I need enough money to raise a family. That's like a big pressure right now. Are you thinking like I'll just go poly and a bunch of me and my friends will raise my kids? Like, what are you thinking? What's your thoughts for money in the future?
I'm letting my future kids know it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough.
That's what's up.
You know?
Yeah.
I've always thought about like, I think I've fetishized the idea of getting married multiple times
Yeah.
and fucking up that first marriage. So like my first kid grows up in immense poverty, and then by my second marriage I sort of start to turn things around.
This is the Steve Jobs aesthetic.
Is it?
Well, he didn't get married to the first girl. He, in fact, abandoned her and the daughter. And later on, when he got rich, he said, I'll name a computer after you.
So in a way, I do believe in that from a psychological level. I do believe in the idea that you have your first child when you're not really prepared for it. You didn't really know, maybe you were settled down with somebody, but financially you weren't there. And you slightly abandon that child and you watch them grow up in this struggle, and it motivates you to turn your life around for your next of kin, but you realize, hey, that relationship with my first kid is probably fucked.
I love the term slightly abandoned, but I also
you'll pop in, like you're not like fully, but you're like, they live on the other side of town, Yeah.
This, ladies and gentlemen, has been a Sad Money podcast. That was truly a Sad Money statement, if I've ever heard one. I slightly abandoned my family. They live on the other side of town. And one day I will be rich. Latin American rich.
Know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. They will understand 100% what you're saying. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
Can I just justify it? I've seen that story play out.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I've seen that from, like, multiple people who are doing really well now.
Yeah, but you talking about the people who were abandoned or the people who made the money?
No. The ones who are abandoned are in a really rough spot. But
those kids are fucked up. They're like, why did you abandon me? You go, look, I did this for me. You're thinking of you. But if you were me, you would see it from my point of view. So anyway, I totally understand what you're saying. Like I said, I read Steve Jobs' book about it. If Steve Jobs had been a good father, I never would have read his book. That's the truth. And also the computer he named after his daughter was a fucking flop. So, but he gave her an iPod before anybody else had one.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
That's the silver lining. Look, Dad sent you the old, what is that, a shuffle?
I think he gave her the first iPod. He was like, before anyone else, he gave her one.
He's like, I'll see you in 3 years.
Yeah, he's like, this is going to be really cool. Watch.
Let's
tell everybody where they can follow you.
You can get me on Instagram. My name is, my Instagram handle is Nikhil Mehta with 3 A's at the end and then an H. It's a bad handle. And I run a show called Show Unknown NYC. I would love if this went up today. We need tickets to move. But we'll do shows like every month. So check that out.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
I learned a lot. We did too.